Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting. This meeting is being held via Zoom conference call due to the COVID-19 crisis. Members of the public may participate by following the instructions listed on the agenda. You may also view and listen to the meeting on live stream, cable TV, Granicus, and YouTube. Following roll call, during summary of hearing procedure, we will review how the public may provide comment during today's session. Chair Bonilla is absent. Commissioner Caballero?
Here.
Commissioner Cantrell?
Here.
Commissioner Garcia? Commissioner Garcia? Commissioner Lardnois?
Here.
Commissioner Montañez?
Here.
Commissioner Oliverio?
Here.
Commissioner Ornelas-Wise? Commissioner Ornelas-Wise? Commissioner Torrens?
Here.
And Commissioner Young?
Here.
Okay, by my count, Bonilla and Garcia were absent, and Ornelas-Wise. Is that correct? Summary of hearing procedures. The procedure for this hearing is as follows. The purpose of the Planning Commission study session is to present the city's proposed 2022-2023 capital budget and 2023-2027 capital improvement program to the planning commissioners. No action will be taken by the commission. City staff will call out names of the public who identify they want to speak. You may identify yourself by the raised hand feature on Zoom, click *9 on your phone, or you may call 408-535-3505 or email planning support staff at sanjoseca.gov and identify your name, phone number, and what item or items you would like to speak on. As your name is called, city staff will unmute you to speak. After we confirm your audio is working, your allotted time will begin. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. Speakers using a translator will have 4 minutes. Planning commissioners may ask questions of the speakers. Response to commissioner questions will not reduce the speaker's time allowance. Staff will unmute the speaker to respond to the commissioner. Your raised hand, Jill Border.
Hi, I actually have a public comment. Do I let you know that now? Is that what you're asking?
Not yet.
Okay, thanks, sorry.
No problem.
Vice Chair, you are muted.
Sorry about that. Before we begin, I want to remind the Planning Commission members and members of the public to follow our code of conduct at meetings. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only and addressing the full body. Public speakers will not engage in a conversation with the commissioners or staff. All members of the Planning Commission, staff, and the public are expected to refrain from abusive language. Repeated failure to comply with the code of conduct will disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of this meeting and may result in removal from the meeting. This special meeting of the Planning Commissioners will now come to order. I guess now is the time for Jill Border. Staff, do we have any public speakers for public comment for items not on the Planning Commission agenda? We're going to go back to Jill. Jill, did you have a comment that was for an item not on the Planning Commission agenda?
Yes, I do, but I do have a question for you. When the next meeting is at 6:30, will I be allowed to public comment again, or is this sort of one entirety of like I should speak now on this item and then hold off again on at 6:30's public comment?
Well, is the item involved in the 6:30 agenda, or?
No, it is not.
I mean, I guess you could speak now if you'd like, and potentially come back at 6:30 as well.
Okay, great, thank you. So should I begin?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jill Borders, and I am a lifelong resident of San Jose. I was born and raised here. I'm 54, not ashamed to say it. I love this city. I was born under the San Jose Hospital, but I was a District 10 resident. I was born under the Santa Teresa Ridge. I apologize. I was going to write a speech, but I'm going to speak from my heart. On June 8th, a project will come before you. And that project is called the Gershwind Residence Project. And in 2017, a community meeting was held, and over 100 people signed on to that meeting, a signature saying they did not want this project to move forward. I do not live under that hill, and it would not affect me. The visual part of it does not affect me. That's not why I'm upset and worried about this project. I'm upset and worried because San Jose has made a $47 million investment in Coyote Valley. And we vote on Measure Q for open space dollars to tax ourselves. We vote on Measure T and use these dollars, and we invest in Coyote Valley, and we make this huge decision. And there's this 2 parcels that are a part of this project that now the planning department will come before you and argue, after already giving it an early denial for the reasons of wildlife connectivity. It already gave him a letter, this applicant, saying because of these parcels and the wildlife connectivity between the ranges and to preserve the wildlife there, that they denied that project. So I'm asking you before the June 8th meeting, if you would please read that document, the early denial letter to the applicant. They are bringing it back now 5 years later without any community meeting, with slight visual alterations, in my opinion, to the home that will be built on this hillside. And there is all kinds of environmental opposition. My opposition to it is that it's like we are allowing this one particular residence with a 1,400-foot concrete driveway to go all the way up from Santa Teresa up to this residence. And these 2 parcels have been called out in the Silicon Valley Habitat Plan as extremely important parcels. The animals go underneath the canal, and his 1,400 square foot driveway is going to be built right alongside his canal. And I just want to bring it to your attention because I can't believe the planning department 5 years later has come back and said, he's made some visual adjustments, don't worry about it, it's all good. It's not good. These parcels were tried to be purchased by the Silicon Valley Habitat Agency, and I hope you will read these documents and really take a good look at why we should deny this.
Thank you. Staff, do we have any other public comments? No. Okay, please, Mr. Shannon, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Chair and Commission members. My name is Jim Shannon. I'm the city's budget director. Joined here tonight to give a presentation of the 22-23 proposed capital budget and the 23-27 proposed capital improvement plan with Catherine Brown, who's Deputy Director over in the Public Works Department. I think that planning staff is going to share the presentation, but let me know if not, and Claudia Chang, our Deputy Director in the Budget Office, can share as well. Not quite sure there.
Sylvia.
Hi, everyone. This is Sylvia Doe in planning. It's fine if Claudia wants to share the presentation, and it'll be easier probably for her to click through.
1 second. Commissioner Young, you had a question? So your hand's up.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. I had sent in some brief questions this afternoon and received an email, but unfortunately I wasn't able to read the responses. So I would just ask if staff could review those questions during their presentation. Thank you.
I haven't, thank you for that question. I haven't seen those questions, but maybe Catherine has, and if we don't get them during the presentation, then we'll make sure to look at it and get it in the Q&A afterward. And I know we're joined here by staff from the departments as well, who are responsible for a lot of the projects. And so we'll go ahead and get into it. So I will kick things off with a little bit of conversation just about the budget, sort of from the dollars and cents perspective. And then Catherine Brown will kind of give an overview of the different capital programs and the projects that are listed therein. So here we go. Next slide, please. So our capital programs, like the rest of the city's budget, is organized by city service areas to sort of capture the different work streams that we engage in, both from an operating perspective and from sort of a public asset infrastructure perspective. And so those are community and economic development with the developer assisted projects capital program, our environmental and utility services CSA, which consists of our SANI, storm, water pollution control, and water utility capital programs. Then we've got our library and parks and community facilities development within our neighborhood services CSA. We've got the different public safety facilities as part of that CSA. For transportation and aviation, we've got the airport program, our parking program, which is funded through garage and meter revenues. And then, of course, we have our traffic capital program for things like pavement maintenance and traffic safety improvements. And then strategic support, which is some of the back of house stuff, which helps invest in some city facilities, emergency communications, equipment, and our various service yards where we dispatch maintenance staff out of. Next slide. But just looking at the entire budget here, the 22-23 proposed budget is a $5.3 billion operation spread across 141 funds with about 6,800 positions. Probably our employee count kind of varies, but budgeted position count is about 6,855 with this proposed budget. And several different categories of funds. We've got the general fund, which most folks are familiar with, and those are things that like sales tax and property tax. And we talk a lot about it, especially on the operating side, because it's pretty much an unrestricted revenue source by which we can perform any governmental service. So we talk a lot about that because that's where all the trade-offs sort of happen. But that's only 25% of the city's budget. The rest of the 75% is split up amongst two more restrictive sources, the largest of which is what we call our special funds. And so these are our funds that pay for the operations of specific utility or enterprise operations like the airport. For example, the airport operating funds or the operation of our wastewater treatment plant, or think about our recycling and garbage services. Those are all funds collected that can only be used for a specific purpose. And then we've got about 27%, which is what our capital fund provides, which is, again, mostly restricted funds, but then can be used for various capital assets. So the airport revenue support airport capital programs, some revenues related to the sanitary sewer collection can be used for the rehabilitation of those collection systems, stuff like that. So that 1.67 billion is what we're talking about tonight for the 22-23 budget, and is about 27% or so of the overall city budget. Next slide, please. From a 5-year perspective, this chart sort of shows what the sort of the recent past has been, and we've certainly been able to grow over the years. You see the big spike there for the 5-year period, FY20 to 24. That really coincides with the implementation of Measure T, which was a $650 million sort of bond program that spanned a number of different facilities, and so we see that influence quite a bit the CIP. We also have a lot of expenditures going on in the wastewater pollution control plant capital program for a lot of massive investment in that plant over a multi-decade horizon. The $3.4 billion 5-year CIP, that's probably going to, this is the proposed amount, we'll have a lot of projects that will sort of carry over into the following fiscal year, and we'll need to carry over some of those funds. We call that re-budgeting of funds. So when we kind of go through the year-end process to kind of move some of that money, it'll probably be pretty close to where the 22-26 CIP is when it's all said and done there. But I just wanted to kind of provide that longer term looking backward perspective. Next slide. A little bit about some of the revenue sources that make up our CIP. So we have contributions, loans, and transfers. So these are transfers from various special funds and other internal capital funds to make those operations work. So a lot of those are transfers from, let's say, the sanitary sewer program into the wastewater treatment plant capital program. We've got our beginning fund balances. Again, that's the money we have to start the year. Is basically money for that'll be spent down over the subsequent 5 years of the CIP for funds that were collected in the past. We have some financing proceeds, which is funds we use to sort of borrow to invest in those capital assets that have a longer term lifespan. Majority of that there is in the wastewater treatment plant capital fund. Some revenue from other agencies. So we get revenue from the federal government, from the state government, and from VTA and other agencies. Some taxes, fees, and charges that are specific to the capital program. And we have interest interest income earned on the cash balances of the various funds, and then a slew of sort of miscellaneous revenue and developer contributions to round out all of our sources for the capital program. Next slide. Our loans and transfers here. So again, a lot of it, just like I said there, came from the special funds, about $716 million worth. Again, those are mostly utility funds that over a 5-year horizon help transfer funds into our utility capital funds to help make those capital assets work. The general fund you see here is sort of a relatively small component of all of our transfers. A lot of that is the transfer to the public safety capital program for the long-term replacement of our fire apparatus to make sure that we always have sort of a good working fleet of emergency response vehicles in the fire department, and as well as to replace some of our emergency radio equipment. Next slide, please. When we look at the beginning fund balances by the various capital programs, they kind of shown out here. The largest one is our traffic capital program, which is where we use to maintain our streets and road network, safety projects, those sorts of activities. Our parks, community facilities development program has about $154 million of beginning fund balance. And again, all of these balances are sort of, funds collected in previous years that are then programmed to be spent down into in the following years. Next slide, please. Our financing proceeds are broken down by, again, mostly for the regional wastewater facility, our water pollution control plant. We've got a sort of a long-term, pretty massive project to rehabilitate and modernize that facility. Ton of work has been going on, and will continue to go on for the foreseeable future. And so we've got sort of two different financing programs there. One sort of a short-term, sort of we call sort of like a wastewater interim financing facility. But then on a periodic basis, we'll issue long-term bonds to fix out that debt. And so we'll be engaging in that in this next year. And of course, you see the next issuance of proceeds from Measure T, which I think is projected to occur again in 23-24. Claudia will jump in and correct me if I'm wrong there. So those are the two biggest buckets for our financing proceeds. Next slide, please. Other agencies are broken down here. So we've got our federal government. Most of this is, so we have federal government are at 140 million, state government at about 195. We do have transfers in from other users from our regional wastewater facility, and then other agencies there. Primarily, that is mostly makes up the Valley Transportation Authority for contributions for pavement maintenance. Similarly, for the federal government, a lot of that is various pavement maintenance programs as well. And similar with the state too, a lot of pavement maintenance programs there too when we look at the state gas tax programs. Taxes, fees, and charges. We do have some taxes that are specific to the capital program. Our largest source is what we call our construction and conveyance tax at $30 million over a five-year period. We've seen, some pretty robust growth. It's not a surprise to, especially the planning commissioners here, I'm sure, have seen that the land values have remained very high in both the commercial and the residential side. And so that's translated, especially in this last year, to high prices and a high number of sales. And so our construction and conveyance tax is a transfer tax that's primarily based on the conveyance of property, but those revenues then go in to support a number of capital programs, the biggest of which is our parks and communities facilities development capital program. But then it also feeds a number of others, such as our public safety program, our library program, our communications program. So that's been a healthy source and has been growing. And then we've got our airport passenger facility charge proceeds. So this is a tax for the passengers that use the airport. And this is a recovering category, which is nice to see that the airport certainly was hit by the onslaught of the pandemic, but passenger levels have been coming back up, flights have been coming back up. So the airport is on some increasingly sounder footing going into the future, which is a good news story. Then we have these two lower left-hand slices: construction excise tax and the building and structure construction tax. Both of these taxes are taxes that are levied for private development and construction projects. And so we see those when a new building is going up or building permits are pulled. There's a tax based on the valuation of those permits. And then those revenues go in to support our various programs in the traffic capital program. Next slide, please. And then when you kind of see it all together here, you can kind of just kind of a nice slide to see sort of what the biggest components of the CIP are from, and it's sort of ranked from a 5-year perspective. So over the 5-year period, you see the traffic capital program there is about 28% of the CIP, neck and neck with the water pollution control program, and the airports follows next with a number of projects that are going to be included in the parks and community facilities capital program. This sort of just gives a slice and a perspective of the different levels of investment across the different types of capital programs. And with this, I want to turn over to Catherine to walk us through the more exciting parts of the capital plan, which is the actual projects and the process by which we develop the CIP.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. Again, I'm Catherine Brown. I'm a Deputy Director in Public Works. So this slide just shows how the CIP is aligning with the general plan. I do want to just take a quick second to recognize and thank all of the partner departments that Public Works works with. I know that there's a lot of work that goes behind developing the plans, and the CIP, we are a part of that, and it's a giant team effort that goes into these developments. So thank you to all of you that are here that I can see. Next slide, please. This is the Measure T, in November of 2018, the San Jose voters had approved Measure T bond measure, which provides up to $650 million in general obligation bonds. And this is for a wide variety of infrastructure needs, with at least $300 million being dedicated to road rehabilitation over the course of the bond measure. And then roughly $418 million will be allocated in the next 5 years. Next slide. This is the sanitary sewer system. This consists of over 2,000 miles of sewer mains serving the city of San Jose, as well as 3 other jurisdictions, and it conveys the sewage to the regional wastewater facility. Program priorities include improving our sewer capacities to accommodate the economic development, as well as rehabilitating the existing sewer lines. Next slide. This is the storm sewer system, and this consists of roughly 1,100 miles of sewer mains and 31 stormwater pump stations. This is separate from the sanitary system, so this collects stormwater that's eventually conveyed to the Guadalupe River and the Coyote Creek. A key focus of this CIP over the next few years is going to be the delivery of the Measure T funded projects, which will include the Charcot area storm drainage improvements. This will help alleviate some of the flooding and drainage issues that area currently experiences. Next slide. This is the San Jose Santa Clara Regional Wastewater Facility, or the RWF. This wastewater treatment facility serves 8 South Bay cities and 4 special districts. So a total of 947 million will be used to renovate and upgrade the RWF. I know Jim touched on this previously. Just to upgrading the infrastructure, ensure that the facility has the capacity and the reliability that the area needs. Next slide. The San Jose Municipal Water System provides water service to roughly 120,000 residents in 5 areas within the city of San Jose. Some of the key focus areas for this CIP include the construction of new facilities, maintenance of existing infrastructure, and improvements to the water utility system facilities. Some key projects in the CIP include the North San Jose well development and construction. The Library Capital Program, the objective is to provide accessible quality library services to the residents of San Jose. This CIP provides funding to acquire physical and electronic materials for the residents, installation of automation equipment and systems, and support facility repairs and improvements. Some key projects in this CIP include the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Library Lighting Retrofit Project. Next slide. The Parks and Community Facilities Program provides oversight of the planning and development of just over 3,500 acres of parks and open space. They have 16 city-operated community centers, as well as over 61 miles of publicly accessible trails. The proposed CIP actually plans for over 200 major projects and over 100 small projects, such as the Coyote Creek Trail lighting and the Starbird Park Playground. The major focus of the Public Safety CIP is delivering projects funded by the Measure T bond measure. There's roughly $190 million allocated for various projects, including new facilities, such as fire stations 37, 32, and 36, and then relocation of existing facilities, such as fire stations 8 and 23, as well as rehabilitation of the aging facilities. Next slide. The airport CIP continues to focus on projects that were identified in the master plan, which focus on refurbishment of current facilities to maximize the safety, improve efficiencies, and increase passenger services. Some priority projects include the facilities division relocation project and Terminal A and Terminal B ramp rehabilitations, as well as some airfield geometric implementation. The parking CIP program maintains and improves existing parking facilities, as well as upgrades and replaces on-street and off-street parking equipment, as well as development of new parking facilities. The proposed CIP has been programmed around addressing larger scale maintenance needs and rehabilitating garage elevator infrastructure. The traffic CIP's mission is to implement and manage a multimodal transportation system that is safe, efficient, and environmentally sensitive, as well as maintained in the best condition possible. So this CIP includes investments that are targeted towards providing safe streets for all modes of travel with balanced transportation. The communication CIP fund improvements are related to communication facilities, as well as providing reliable and necessary public safety, as well as non-public safety related communications equipment to city employees so they can function in their jobs efficiently. The municipal improvement CIP provides improvements that for maintenance and for city facilities and their operating systems that aren't funded through other CIP programs. The goal of this specific program is to develop and maintain the functionality of city facilities that meets the service needs both for internal and external customers. The service yards CIP maintains and improves the existing conditions in the city service yards. It focuses on implementing projects that reduce safety hazards, increase efficiencies, as well as provide necessary equipment and materials for proper operations. And then lastly, we have the Developer Assisted Projects CIP, which includes multiple Rule 20A underground projects. And that concludes the presentation. Staff from all departments have been invited to this meeting. So if you have any program specific questions, they hopefully will be here to help us respond. So thank you.
Commissioner Oliverio.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, on the last slide regarding the undergrounding, that's a partnership with us and the utility, correct? Like a PG&E?
Yes, that is correct.
And then how do those get prioritized? Obviously, there's more overhead wire than that will ever be replaced. Is it based on any different criteria? I can't recall if it's, if you can refresh my mind there.
I am going to kick it over to my counterpart, Matthew Nguyen, who oversees that scope of work for Public Works.
Hi, yes, my name is Matthew Nguyen, Deputy Director for Public Works. and thanks for the question. Right now, we are meeting with PG&E on a yearly basis, and basically, we have a long list of locations where we can underground. And I forgot the criteria, but it's been on the list for a while. I will have to go back and check on the criteria and see specifically how we went through that list. Sorry,
Okay.
I don't have a clear answer for that right now. So
No sweat, just curious. I remember attending public meetings on the Lincoln Avenue one around 2010. And so obviously these projects just, you could spend a lifetime as your career and only get a fraction of the city done, but that's no criticism of anyone. These projects just take a long time. And then a question for libraries. It mentioned that the capital improvement funds can be purchased electronic items. So if libraries are to be utilized as learning centers for, worker retraining, opportunities for underprivileged youth, et cetera. So does that mean a library can buy, that type of workforce retraining software to enable those community members to get those services?
Good evening, Commissioners. Hi, I'm Jenny Choi. I'm the Deputy Director of Operations for the Library Department. To answer your question, included in our capital budget, what's listed out, I believe, is the acquisition of materials, which it's mainly the e-resources that line item refers to. However, we do have automation budget as well, which is our public and employee technical support. So that would include all of our software, public PC, all of those components.
And does that fall under CIP or that's a different fund?
Mostly that can fall under CIP if it's software specifically for to support our existing programs. We do occasionally get grant funding as well as some American Recovery funding that is supporting like our device lending currently.
And when you say e-resources, is that like online tutoring or something?
E-resources refer to our audiobooks, our ebook.
Got it.
Yes.
Great, thanks so much.
Sure.
And two more questions and I'll be done. I know that. Hey, Jim, if I remember correctly, you have the FMS, which is the financial management system. And then you, I think the budget office was, it should be live now that your budget now is in that new module, which was like PeopleSoft, now Oracle. That's completely up and running. And the budget process is night and day as far as the amount of work it takes.
Commissioner, how time does fly. We implemented that software in 17-18, and it took us a while to kind of iron out some of the kinks. And so that was the Hyperion budgeting platform that we had installed. So we implemented that concurrently with the upgrade of PeopleSoft. So it's a different software application, but actually we have to upgrade to the cloud for that to happen or to continue on that software. So actually we had a mid-year action to work on that transition. So we're working on that concurrently. And so we'll have a sort of a revised version of that platform for the 23-24 budget development process.
And then Jim, also for you, the replacement or the desire for a new ERP has been approximately 20 years. Can CIP fund that, or is that a different source of funds?
It would probably, we would probably have general fund resources to pay for it. So one, maybe to answer your specific question, we did set aside some scoping funding right when just after the pandemic hit. Like we have to kind of, make sure that we're ready for an ERP transition. So finance is leading that work. It will take general fund dollars to get that over the goal line. I wouldn't call that necessarily, I don't know if that would land squarely in the capital realm of things, but it would be a big sort of citywide investment because it would involve multiple departments. I don't know if you'd see it in the Muni Capital Program for a software. So typically our software solution implementations reside in the general fund,
Right.
Unless we're putting in a lot of hardware.
Right, but that's sort of less and less as time goes on now. But so technology for the purpose of the finance department may not be CIP eligible. It would have to be general fund, and that price tag's still around 20 million.
We just have numbers floating out there. Like, I don't know what, that could be right. It's probably going to be in excess of 10 million, but we haven't done any real cost estimate on that yet.
Got it. Thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to Commissioner Young.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. First of all, I'd just like to compliment the staff on this report. It's fantastic. I've read a lot of budget documents in local government. It's very, very well done, very thorough, well written. I always try to read all the staff reports. I will be honest with the finance folks. I didn't quite get through all the financials. It was a little over my head, but all the information about all the projects was really excellent. Very, very well done. There must have been a tremendous amount of work. I just wanted to say thank you for that. Ms. Wang answered a lot of my questions that I sent in earlier. Thank you. Sorry for the email glitch. I did have a couple of just brief questions follow up. Regarding the relocation of fire stations 8 and 23, I just wondered, do we have new locations planned out for those?
Thank you for the question. Again, this is Catherine Brown, Deputy Director in Public Works. So for Fire Station 23, we do not have a planned location as of yet. We are working with our real estate team to identify the most ideal location that fits within the fire department's criteria, their response time criteria. But for Fire Station 8, we do have a location, and that's actually on Santa Clara Street. It's only a few blocks away from where it currently sits, more centralized towards downtown. I can get you the official address. I don't have it off the top of my head, but we do have that, and that is actually currently in design right now, that project.
Okay, great. Thank you. And the other question I had was in regards to undergrounding of utilities. And I know that some of that is developer finance, but I had a question, and this is in regards to the high hazard wildland urban interface area in the East Foothills, and whether there has been any discussion with PG&E about undergrounding the electrical lines in that area, because, you know, as we know, many of the wildland urban fires in recent years have been caused by PG&E lines going down in the wind. So just curious if that has been broached at all.
Yes, this is Matthew Nguyen with Public Works again. Thank you for the question. So right now we're coordinating with PG&E on the underground project. However, so far we've been talking about just projects that already identified on the rules 20A and 20B program. We understand that last year PG&E announced that they're going to have a new undergrounding program where they plan to underground a total of 10,000 miles of transmission line. We haven't seen that list yet, but we plan to bring it up to PG&E in our monthly meeting next month, and we'll ask them for any plan they may have for the city of San Jose.
Terrific. Thank you. That's all the questions I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Cantrell.
Hey, yeah, just a quick question. I'm curious. On slide 5 and 6, you talk about loans. What characterizes a loan, and what are the instruments? How does that work?
Well, you know, it's a category. Actually, I don't think we have any loans, interfund loans. So we do have a policy for interfund loans. It's a really restrictive policy, so we almost never use it. But on occasion where one particular fund sort of needs sort of a bridge loan, we can loan it from another fund who has the resources available to do so. The caveat is, though, that our policy is kind of like, hey, that loan has to be callable at any time. And so it's tough to loan, because if you're able to call it, you wouldn't need a loan in the first place, probably. So it's really just more of a category name than it actually, we don't have any loans in there currently. So most of it is transfers from other funding sources. That's the bulk of it.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, so I was wondering.
That's a good question. That's maybe it's an outdated. I mean, I've been here for 10 years and we've never had a loan in the capital program. So maybe we need to rethink that categorization. So thank you for that.
Sure, thank you.
Any more commissioner questions? Robert, with no more commissioner questions, are we good to adjourn?
Yes,
Hey,
we are.
Great. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sylvia would like to speak.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Hi, thank you. I apologize for not having my camera on. My desktop computer at work doesn't have a webcam, but nonetheless, yes, before the study session is adjourned, if the Planning Commission wouldn't mind taking action based upon staff's recommendation noted on the agenda so that we can take the Planning Commission's recommendation and pass it along to the City Council. Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the staff recommendation on the capital improvement budget.
Okay. Thought I read somewhere there was no action was going to be taken.
And I believe the motion will be accept staff recommendation.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor to accept staff recommendation. I'll go through the vote. Chair Bonilla is absent. Yes for Casey. Commissioner Caballero.
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell.
No, I was not expecting to provide that recommendation today. I thought there would be more time for that.
Yeah, I was surprised by it too.
Can we clarify if the city attorney,
Yeah,
I mean, or is someone allowed to abstain on the vote if they feel uncomfortable?
Yes, I mean, the agenda item has a staff recommendation that the action can be taken on it. You know, I looked at the Planning Commission's bylaws, and you are required to vote on matters. So abstention in this case would not be appropriate since there's not a legal conflict. So you guys will have to vote. And if you're feeling comfortable, then you can vote no.
Okay, no.
Okay, Commissioner Garcia, absent. Commissioner Lardnois,
Yes.
Commissioner Montañez. Is she gone? Commissioner Montañez. Commissioner Oliverio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ornelas Wise. She's gone as well. Commissioner Torrance
Yes.
and Commissioner Young.
Yes.
We're gonna get a visual of the tally, or should? So I'm gonna recap it. Looks like the yeses have it.
Is that quorum, I guess? Is that, I'm just curious.
6 yeses.
6, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at absent, wrong column. Haha, thanks.
With that, I believe we're okay to adjourn.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. See you guys 6:30.